some of the members are more active, some is just the leaders that are talking. Okay, it looks in terms of the group cohesion. And obviously, the group that performed better is usually the group that has more cohesion within. Yeah? Next one is the group norms, meaning what are the standard rules within that group, okay? Some people like to go to fancy places. Now, if you are in that group, you have to follow as well, and you have to go to fancy places. And some groups, they just like to go to mamak stalls. They like to go to the best mamak stalls in Malaysia, so they don't mind that, okay? Different groups will result in different rules, yeah? And that's why when someone first come into the group, the person would be more quiet because the person is quite new to the group, and the person actually needs to know what is some of the norms, or what do they talk about, what is the context of the group itself. Yeah. The next one is the group membership. Now, what do you mean by group membership? Now, group membership, it means by why do you exist and why do you have this kind of group? Mainly, there are two functions. The first one is the task-oriented membership. The task-oriented means we are having a group here today because we want to achieve something, okay? Now, if you're coming to OUM to listen, to tutor, that is a task-oriented membership. Your task is to gain more knowledge along the way in the tutorial. Yep. Task-oriented is also more for companies, okay? Most of them, they need to achieve some goals. They need to do businesses. Now, these are called task-oriented membership. Next one that is less visible, that is called socially-oriented membership. Now, socially-oriented membership, it looks more in terms of relationship or bonding, okay? This less formal. You can say it's less formal. It's more within friends. It's more casual. And between male and females, of course, it's female. Okay, males, of course, possible. Now, you want to just engage in the relationship building. Some people, you have concert. Your concert is not to do homework. Now, you're attending concert because you want to have that relationship building, okay? You watch a football, you might have two of them together. You want to see the score, and also you want to make new friends, okay, within the group that you are in, okay? So these are two types of group membership that you could possibly be in. Now, group, before, how do they form? Does it just come by? I mean, it doesn't go through stage 1, stage 2, and then to stage 5. Sometimes they change together, but this is basically how you form a group, yeah? The first one is that there is a group forming. A group forming defines as a group of people coming together. Now, this is called a group forming, okay? Now, you want to establish a group of anything, a group of leaders or any AJK, for instance, you form the people first, okay? After that, you storming. Now, what do you mean by storming? Here, storming means that, not brainstorming. Storming means by different people. Now, before the group becomes cohesive enough, they actually started off like individual basis. So what you want to do at the starting of the group is try to look between the weakness of you and other people and just try to balance it out, okay? And try to take a bit of this and take a bit of that and to form the social norms of the group, yeah? Next one, you go to normings. That's what you do after that. You norm, okay, some of the things. Next one is the fourth stage. You go to performing. Performing hereby that just now we talk about the membership. Are you looking into relationship building, or are you looking into doing your task or performing your task, okay? Now, after that, lastly you go to the stage 5, which is the adjourning. Adjourning means you saying bye-bye to your group, okay? But this one, sometimes you have a definite closing to it. When you have a special task, you have a special closing to it. Or sometimes it's rather it fades by itself. It slowly fades by itself. Yep. we seldom just adjourn in that way. Yeah, slowly it fades by itself. Now, social exclusion. Sometimes what happens is that people is excluded from groups. Okay. Now this happens obviously more in the schools when the students are kicked out by their groups. Okay. Now this forms a huge peer pressure among students because they want to belong. Okay, young people want to be belonged, but the problem is that what people do is they manipulate the situation and they kick out the weaker link. Okay. Now, social exclusion hereby means being kicked out from the group. It can just not happen in the school. We see that happens in the society, in the company that you are in. Some people might play, I call it play politics. They might form an alliance with the boss or the higher authority. And what they do, they try to kick you out of the organization. And this is hard facts, it's difficult facts, but it's real. I mean, people do that. People kick you out from the group. Now, what people do after that, okay? Yeah, it's very hurtful. Obviously, it's very hurtful, and you shouldn't do that if you do that, okay? Now, some people kick off. There are different sort of reasons why people might kick you out or might kick me out. Now, the first one is that different opinions, okay? Now, when you have different opinions from other people, people just tend to kick you out because the group cohesiveness is so strong that people do not welcome your own opinion, okay? It happens in some party. Within the party itself, when someone go against the norms of the party, what the party does is that the party would kick the person out, or the party would require the person to take back his or her words, okay? When what he or she says it's real, but it's hard to be accepted by the group, okay? That's why they kick them out, okay? Now, next one, it's also beliefs have changed. Now, along the way, groups usually exist for a very long time, for quite a long time, for a few years, I would say. Now, along the way, people will change, okay? You and I will change. So our beliefs would change as well when we change our schemas along the way. Now, when your beliefs have changed, now, and you are not part of that group social norms anymore, that's when people will not like you. Okay, how do you want to be liked in a group is that one advice is that you just nod your head when people just say anything. That's when they are happiest enough, and they don't like it when you have your own opinion or you give your own suggestion. It's very hard to them to accept, okay? Now, what it can result in social exclusion is that people might go into depression. It does affect the people, the person also, and people go into sadness, okay? Now, we should be aware of our behavior towards other people. More so, not the things that you can see and do, but more so the things that you cannot see Yep. Now, how do you differentiate between a crowd and a group? Is it the same? Is crowd part of group? Okay? Crowd is actually part of group, okay? People come just suddenly and they form a crowd. You know, a crowd of people watching accident, okay? This always happen in Malaysia. That's called a crowd, okay? It is defined as a large group of persons, means people, who are usually strangers. Now, crowd, they don't really know each other. Okay? There's no interaction. Interaction happens when they have the crowd and when they're watching something, and then they start to question. Now, these are called the crowds, okay? They can facilitate or even inhibit your certain behaviors, okay? And even strangers, they can actually affect you, okay? Now, if you can put yourself standing just in front of the hall, and you can just put a group of people, a crowd of people, okay? They would be closing their eyes, okay? Use black cloth and close your eyes. They would affect you, the way you speak, how you're going to present yourself, okay? It does affect you. Now, why we're talking about group is that group dynamic is important. We are part of the group, and that it does affect us as an individual. Okay, we can call ourselves individual, but also we are called social beings. So part of groups, now when you look at groups, you have to look like an individual. Okay, an individual, it's a collective of individuals. You form a huge individual. Now that's called a group. Yeah.